all of you who are watching us now objecting to the expansion of the police state by the accretion of power that Donald Trump is trying to get to make him the unitary executive that Project 2025 dreamed about. We have a lot to talk about today, but before we start, I have to say happy 105th anniversary to the 19th Amendment. It became the law of the land that women could vote 105 years ago, August 26th. So happy anniversary for that. Sad anniversary for the plight of women right now, today. First of all, I also have to say thank you to Richard Nixon. Yes, I am saying thank you to Richard Nixon because he's the president who made August 26th the Women's Equality Day. The League of Women Voters celebrates it now as Women's Inequality Day, and until we have the Equal Rights Amendment, it's going to continue to be the Inequality Day. But anyway, happy anniversary that we can all vote, at least for now. Anyway, welcome, Susan. What are we going to talk about first today? What do you think? We have so many topics.
We were laughing. We have so many topics, and everything is so overwhelming. I said maybe we should both start with like a pint of Haagen-Dazs.
Which I agreed to immediately.
But that was just a little joke. But
right. Let's start with something good. Could we have the first part of our episode be standing up to Trump? Because I think finally Democrats are starting to stand up to Trump. And I want to point to two in particular. Of course, both of you and I are in Illinois. So our Governor Pritzker, is standing up to Trump and has given a remarkable speech. He was really good. And he also has competition because Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is also standing up to Trump. And they are both taking action. They're not just speaking words. They're doing more than that. And for me, I want to say two things. One, it's making Democrats feel good about themselves because they've been complaining that what are Democrats doing? They're not doing anything. Now they are. And I at first thought that particularly Gavin Newsom was not taking the right approach. His tweets in the manner of mocking and mimicking Donald Trump's all caps and silly language. But it's working. And because it's working, I now applaud it. And I also am against gerrymandering. I don't like it when either side does it. But because the Republicans have successfully done it in Texas, there's no choice but for Democrats to do it wherever they can. And so I am proud of Gavin Newsom, especially because he found a way to do it using the voters. He's not imposing a new map. He's asking the voters about whether they want to redistrict. And I thought that was really good for all those reasons. One, because it's necessary, and two, because he's letting the voters have a say in it.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I initially had the same thought when he was, tweeting in caps and, playing Trump's game. I thought, does he really need to do this? But you know what? It's working. And his director of communications said that he's holding up a mirror and mocking him.
Yes.
Mocking Trump, which and it did work, and it was kind of funny, and initially it was a little jarring, but it did work.
It's gotten under Trump's skin, and that's good. I also want to say Michael Cohen, who I've luckily been able to get to know a little bit since his becoming a public figure, had a Substack that he called "Action Resonates While Statistics Alienate." And I think the action that Democrats are now taking is resonating and will help with registration and fundraising. So I feel good about that. And of course, the Texas Democrats have done a great job bringing attention to the gerrymandering that the Republicans were doing, how unfair it was. They came to Illinois and other states to avoid having the necessary number of votes to take a vote. So they were able to delay for several weeks the gerrymander map vote. And I thought that was a good thing because it also gave Gavin Newsom time to develop the plan to redistrict California and to get it signed to be on the ballot in time. So I thought that was really a good thing, and I'm happy about that. And one last one who's standing up, quite surprisingly, is Bolton. He got his house searched, and it didn't stop him. He published an op-ed saying how awful Donald Trump's plan for Ukraine was. And that's a bold way to stand up to someone who is going after you. And we'll talk separately about the Bolton search, as whether it was legal or whether it was just pure retribution. But I just thought it's worth mentioning that I thought he was standing up to Trump. Did
Right.
you?
Yeah, I did too. And I think, to get back to Pritzker for a minute, if our audience didn't get a chance to hear his speech, look it up, Google it. It was really powerful. He was so clear that he said, this is unprecedented, it's unwarranted, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, it's un-American. And he was clear. He said, it's not about fighting crime. It's about,
Yeah.
deploying the military to intimidate political rivals.
Well,
And
yeah, I think, I wish we could print a link for everybody, but maybe I'll put one on my website, a link to his speech, because it is a powerful speech. It was very well delivered and very, very much needed.
it
So
was.
it
And
it
then
was
and Mark Elias, who, for Democracy, what's the name of his Substack?
docket, democracy docket.
Democracy. He just said, Pritzker got it right, and he said
Yeah.
he believes he's sending the military to undermine free and fair elections. That it's very clear that he's trying to normalize having military on the streets in democratic cities.
This is
And
not the way to fight crime. And we'll talk about several aspects of that in a separate episode that you and I will have, about what it means to have a police state and what it means if Donald Trump, can get away with this. But
yeah,
I mean, I just wanted to start with one segment that dealt with there
right,
is now a real resistance. And I want to leave with a message. My sister-in-law, Joyce Vance, is coming out with a book, We Can't Give Up Now. Don't give up now. Don't be overwhelmed. Pick one issue that you care about and fight back on that. Make sure you don't give up, because it's not too late to save democracy. Everyone has to do something. And it's better to hire more police than it is to let military, who are not trained in any of the things that Donald Trump is saying he wants them to do. They shouldn't be patrolling our street carrying guns. And that will be another topic we'll talk about, is not just
yeah.
the military being in Chicago, but the military having been in LA, still there, and of course in DC. And I want our listeners in that episode to understand how different it is in Chicago, New York, Kansas City, anywhere else in America is different than DC, and
And
different than LA was at the time he sent the troops.
right, and I think we really have to remind people that Trump, he doesn't need the facts. He just says what he wants. And if he says it enough and keeps repeating it, it's like the truth for him. And,
He
people,
knows it isn't the truth, and his
right.
listeners should know, but they don't.
But
But
the
you're
more
right.
you hear it, the more we become used to it. And that's the danger. But he's basically a political arsonist. He sets the fire, and then he's going to come in and put it out, and he's going to be the hero. And it's crazy, because he's surrounded by incompetent people. Before, he had people around him who would tell him, you can't do this. And that's the difference, right, Jill, between
It it
this,
is.
this, you
But
know,
I disagree with you. He is not going to put out this fire. He is going to expand it. He's going to
right,
make sure that it is everywhere. And so he has to be stopped before the fire gets raging. And
right,
that's why I think it's important for people to know what's going on.
right, right.